Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Becky.
And I'm Chloe. So it's been a while since we've done a tier ranking video, so that is what we're going to do today. And this time we are going to rank book to movie or TV show adaptations.
So we have chosen 10 book series for this that either one or both of us have seen and read.
So also these are just in a random order. I literally put it in a randomizer, so we have no bias for which ones we talk about first or last. So how are we determining this? I feel like it should be a combination of, is it a good adaptation and is it a good movie or show? So what I'm personally gonna think of it as is it faithful to the book? If it's not faithful to the book, do the changes make sense or does it actually improve it? And then just, is it a good movie or show in and of itself? Like, is it well made? Is like the acting good? Does it look good? Etc. So that's what I'm gonna base it off of. So kind of a combination of the two, if it's similar to the book or if it's just good on its own. Let's get started. Okay, first up, Harry Potter.
Okay, so this series was written by J.K. Rowling. There are 7 books that were made into 8 movies. This production studio was Warner Bros. And it was made between the years 2001 to 2011.
10 years, that's crazy. So obviously there's a lot of movies and some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like okay.
They're pretty accurate for the most part, I would say, in terms of adaptations of the books. Like, all the main important points are gotten across.
First 2 is more accurate to the book, but that's because they're shorter books. So I feel like you can follow it more closely, whereas the other ones are like quite longer. Although they don't really have an excuse for Deathly Hallows because they're like, we're gonna make this 2 movies.
Like, maybe there are some little changes throughout the series, but I feel like for the most part it is pretty faithful. Like, as having child actors that were that young to start off with, I feel like they were pretty well casted for those roles. And same with like the teachers and all that. Like, I just feel like the cast is pretty good in terms of like characterizations and how they were done.
Oh, that third movie though is so
It's it's just the vibes are off.
the vibes are up.
Speaking of
That's
that,
my favorite book and my least favorite movie.
That me too. Yeah.
Because
same.
like, I mean, I guess it's stylistic and that's nice, but like they did not do that story justice in any way.
Humor-based things that was just weird. I don't know, just like weird humor that I don't vibe with.
So what do you think overall? I think it's like a B.
Yeah,
overall,
I think I would put it in the middle.
average.
B. Like, it's pretty good.
They're
not the
entertaining,
best, not the worst.
Not the best, not the
Yeah.
worst. Some of
Like,
them are
I'll
worse
still-
than others, but
Right.
you know.
I mean, I'll still rewatch them. I've watched them like a million times, so you know.
Okay, so next we have Shadow and Bone.
So these books are by Lee Bardugo. This is a Netflix TV series made in 2021, and there's 1 season so far, based off of the first book in the Shadow and Bone trilogy and sort of the first book in the Six of Crows trilogy. So it's kind of like an
Duology.
interesting combination of, duology, sorry. Kind of an interesting combination
Right.
of those 2 series.
So I haven't read the Shadow and Bone books. I only read Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. So it's not even relevant to the show, except the Nina and Matthias parts, I guess, which that was very accurate to the book. I can say that was.
Yeah, that was really good.
I'm not sure about the other stuff, the Shadow and Bone stuff.
I mean, in terms of the Shadow and Bone accuracy to the book, overall, I would say it's pretty accurate. I mean,
basically, they kind of made up their own like prequel story for the Six of Crows characters to just make them involved with it. Which at first I was like, this is so weird. What are they doing? What is going on? I mean, some of it is still weird. Like, I don't know why, like, Inej was like half with the menagerie still and half not. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. And then I was like, I guess to show him, like, buy her contract on camera, but he didn't even, because then he was like, I'm gonna use the jewels for it. So I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, and I don't know why she was like, yeah, my brother. I was like, huh? But other than that, I enjoyed their little story and what they were doing. Like, the actors are really good, and
Yeah.
again, I can't judge the actual like Shadow and Bone content, but as far as the Six of Crows content, the actors were really good, and I thought their characterizations were good and their interactions were good. Like, I don't know what they were doing and why, but I enjoyed it. So
Right, like, it somehow still made sense in the context, I feel like, what they were, I mean, it's just, everything they were doing is hilarious to me, like, I don't know why, I was just like, this is still so entertaining, even though they're just doing this random thing, and I feel like the parts of the Shadow and Bone that were changed because they were trying to incorporate it with those characters, you know, like, obviously those characters don't show up at that party and like interact with her, and
Right.
you know, they don't have those interactions, and they're not there at the end when they're on the skiff in the fold or whatever, so obviously those moments are gonna stray a little bit from the book, but you know, it's forgivable because it was still done in a good way, and like, it made sense. The way that they were interacting made enough sense to me that it was still enjoyable to watch, and it was still relatively faithful to the books.
yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the show overall. There are some parts that are kind of like cheesy, I guess, but I don't know if that's just the adaptation itself or like because the book is kind of cheesy, the other ones, which I'm just going off of hearsay because I haven't read them. But no, I thought it was good. I would say this is like A tier.
Yeah, I would put it in A.
Maybe we should have like saved that one for later since we can only base it off of the first season, but I feel like since we both just watched it and read it, we wanted to include it. So
Yeah,
hopefully
it's
there will
still
be
very
future
fresh.
seasons and then we can judge those in the future. Okay, next is Game of Thrones. Oh, Jesus.
So, this series is by George R.R. Martin. There are 8 seasons of the TV show based on the first 5 books of the series that have been written.
Sort of.
Right, for the relatively. Made by HBO between the years 2011 and 2019. I mean, okay, so
no.
you haven't seen.
I was gonna say,
all
the
of the
fact that I
show.
just stopped watching it should tell you something.
Up until the last season, I still enjoy it overall. Like, I think the first 3 seasons are definitely, we can all agree, are definitely more accurate towards the books and just better, I guess. I mean, they still do, like, they're not exactly perfect, you know, they still change a couple things or, you know, mess with a little bit of the characterizations, I guess, but I still think they're pretty accurate overall, those first 3 seasons. The later seasons get more inaccurate, but it's kind of understandable because the books aren't complete. There's a whole, like, couple characters that are just removed from, like, the 4th and 5th books, like Quentin Martell and
Yeah.
John Connington and all that other, like, king stuff that's going on. All of that is just not in it, which I understand. Like, you know, there's so many characters going on, there's so many storylines, and those storylines, like, didn't even go anywhere in the book. Like, Quentin just dies anyway, so it's kind of like, who really cares overall, you know? The way that they changed some of the main characters
That's what I was gonna
characterizations
say.
was kind
Like,
of not great.
what really annoyed me about it was that I didn't like how it would portray the characters. Like, especially Jaime, that's what annoyed me the most, because I feel like Jaime has this whole, like, redemption arc in the book that's really good, and then the show, he just, like, goes back to Cersei anyway, and, like, he's just still being evil the whole time. Like, I don't know what he's doing. It's just so lame.
Yeah, and it's just so ridiculous, the whole her getting pregnant again, and, like, it's just whack. That's all whack. And then them dying in the end is just, like, so whack. All of that was whack. I mean, I definitely feel like the 8th season, the final season, was very whack. I mean, not even for, like, all of the things. Like, some of it was still okay-ish, but I just feel like the way that they executed it was so rushed and like weird. Like, they they didn't have as many episodes as previous seasons for some reason, where they could have taken more time to space things out and make it make more sense. Like, just the writing of that season was so strange.
Do you think they were
weird. They were,
this is the end, just whatever.
Just get it done.
We're done with this.
Do that though. Like, it's such a popular series. Like, why would they not want to make it more fulfilling?
I mean, like, if you're gonna do your own original story, that's fine. But at least be true to the characters and at least make it make sense. Because, I mean, again, I haven't even watched, like, the later seasons. I've just, like, heard things. Like, I know some of what happens and stuff, and I feel like it just doesn't even make sense. I would say it's a C.
Yeah, I could go there. I could
Harry
agree.
Potter.
I think it's probably less accurate than Harry Potter, yeah. Which, I mean,
again, could be like, okay, but, like, no, though. It's not okay.
Right. Well, I was also gonna say, like, it's not entirely their fault for it not being an adaptation because the books aren't complete, right?
Who knows? Who knows what fucking George R.R. Martin is doing? He'll never finish it. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
Just make it better. Just write it better. I don't know, like... Yeah.
So next is The Hunger Games, which I have not ever read or watched. So Becky, this is all you. Have fun.
All right. So... these books are by Suzanne Collins. There are 3 books. They made them into 4 movies.
They did the Harry Potter thing with the the last one.
The Lionsgate / Color Force production company, and they were made between 2012 and 2015.
So all I know about the Hunger Games is that they're forced to, like, hunt each other in the future, and there's some kind of love triangle going on.
In the future?
Isn't this the future?
Well, it's like a dystopia world. Yeah, it's not like the real world. Yes, okay.
I thought
those things are true.
They're hunting each other.
They are. Well, it's like it's a game. Yeah, it's like
it's the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Okay, so I really like the Hunger Games series overall, just as books and as movies. I think the movies are actually very good adaptations. Like, I remember that was like the first movie that I saw as a midnight premiere, and I just remember, like, feeling very, like, happy with how it was done and, like, that it was very accurate. And then, you know, the other ones as well. I feel like the third one, they didn't need to do the whole splitting it in 2 thing that everybody was doing at the time, because, like, you know, they just did that because Harry Potter did that, honestly. But still, overall, I do think that the way it was done was good. I mean, in terms of, like, casting and stuff, I think they were all good characterizations of the characters. They did a good job. Honestly, I would probably rate it, like, A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. I have nothing to say about that. I'm just clueless. I have nothing to say about this one either. Artemis Fowl.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Please tell us.
So, Artemis Fowl is written by Owen Colfer. There are 8 books, but this movie is only based on the first book. So there's one movie based on book 1 and parts of book 2. Made by Disney in 2020. So this came out last year. So Artemis Fowl is my favorite book series. And just all I have to say is, why? Just why? Like, there are so many choices that were made that I just do not know why. Why is he wearing a hoodie for half the movie and instead of a suit? Why is Juliet Butler's niece instead of his sister? Why is Mulch narrating the entire thing and, like, such a central character? Why is Opal, first of all, here, because she's in the second book, and just a shadowy, faceless entity? Like, not even a person. Like, why any of those things? So, like, in terms of accuracy to book content, half of the movie is just completely an made-up thing that's not in the books at all. And the parts that are from the books, like, they're not even done that well, honestly. Like, the whole, like, end troll fight was so whack and just so weirdly done, like, production-wise and story-wise. Like, just the whole, like, Butler almost dying at the end is so stupid. I hate it. like they didn't even they can't even like include like classic lines from the book. It's just so not done well in any way. Just ridiculous. And then as far as like the non-book content, it just makes no sense. Like, the story is not good at all. Like, what is the Aculos thing? Like, what is the point? Like, what is the point? Why is his dad involved? And why did they, like, not even have to do anything to get him back? They just, like, got this thing out of the safe in his own house and, like, activated it. And then his dad just, like, teleported back there. Like, what? They didn't even do anything. Like, what was the point? They went back and cut these things that should have been more relevant and added these other things that were not at all relevant. Just like, why? Just why though? Like, I really don't understand. Yeah, so it's like, it's not a good adaptation. It's not a good standalone movie in itself. It's just like trash. It's just trash. So
is it
like,
going in the trash?
it is going at the, like, below, it has to be at the bottom because it's just so, get rid of it, honestly. Like, when they can't even, like, get basic characterizations for your main character down.
So next is the Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay, so this series is written by C.S. Lewis. There are 3 movies that were made, but they are based on 3 of the books, so not all of the books were made into movies. They were made by Disney and Fox from the years 2005 to 2010.
So I had only ever read and watched The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I hadn't read or watched it since I was like a child. So I wanted to re-watch it for this video to refresh myself, and then we ended up watching all of them. So we watched, I saw Prince Caspian and the other one, the boat one, for the first time last night. We watched them together, and where to even begin, really?
I've read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince Caspian. I have not read The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but I had seen all the movies before. Like, the first two, like, if we want to go, like, in order of them, like, the first one, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, is a really good adaptation.
It's good,
in my view. Yeah, like, it's a good adaptation. It's a good movie. The way it was done is really good. It's pretty much, like,
are really
exact.
good, even for 2005.
Yeah.
Like, it holds up really
Yeah.
well. Visually,
the
it's very
scenery.
nice. The costumes throughout all of them are very nice.
Right.
Obviously, some parts of it are kind of like cheesy. The characters are kind of bland, but I feel like that is probably a result of the source material. So, you know, it's kind of whatever. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. The movie, you know, it's fine. And then Prince Caspian, surprisingly lit. Like, I had I was not even expecting it to be good. It was at least as good as the first movie. Honestly, I kind of liked it better because I thought it was more exciting. That whole scene where they're like infiltrating the castle, I was like, this is so lit. Like, I was just like, whoa.
Which, like, that is the scene that is not in the books.
Really?
The book.
Yeah, tell us if it's accurate or not.
Well, so the first one is pretty much, like, scene for scene, like, very accurate. Prince Caspian, they kind of move some things around a little bit to kind of make the story flow a little bit better, I feel like. So overall, it incorporates most of the things from the book, or everything from the book is in the movie.
It's
and
like
then they
changes
added
that
a couple
make
things.
sense. For it to be
Yeah, and then they added some additional, like, that whole scene where they were breaking in. Like,
well, that scene was great, so I appreciate it.
So I feel like the changes that were made were very good anyway. And, you know, I am here for Prince Caspian. That's
right. No, it was actually pretty good. I was surprised. Now,
yeah.
That third one.
The third one.
And unfortunately, neither of us have read the book, so
right.
I can't judge it. But like, not good. Not
based
good.
off of, if I were going to make an assumption about the accuracy, I would say that it probably is still pretty accurate because, you know, I don't know why they would suddenly stray from the level of accuracy of the first two in this one. Like, the story is probably pretty accurate. They might have added some additional things, like with Caspian, but I mean, I would assume it's probably the same level of accuracy as the other two. But I think the story itself is just kind of whack.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to judge because we don't know what they added. I felt like there was too much going on. Like, everyone was having, like, their own drama, and then, like, they're trying to get the swords, and then there's, like, that magic guy, and then a fucking fairy lady came, and then there's, like, this random man and his daughter that are there for some reason.
Right, I don't know
they
what
gotta
they were
save the wife, and then, like, you know, Caspian's all, like, emo about his father, but then, like, it was just, there was so much happening, and there was no, like, build-up to anything. This movie was whack. Like, some of it probably is that the story sucked, but also just as a movie. And here's the thing. The first two was made by Disney. The third one suddenly was made by Fox. I don't know why. This is another one where I would like to investigate what happened making this movie. But you can tell the drop in quality. The costumes were nice, but that was really it. Like, the effects were worse. The, like, dialogue was worse. Like, and like you were saying with Harry Potter, there was, like, weird humor. Like, the tone was weird.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like what you were
vibes.
saying with Artemis Fowl, too. It kind of was, like, trying to make it, like, younger, I feel like. Like, it was explaining everything, like, very exactly instead of just, like, implying it, which they did in the first two movies. You know, you would have, like, one moment that would come up again later. But then in that third movie, they would just say everything, like, very blatantly, like, as if, like, you know, the audience wouldn't understand, like, you're, like, talking to children. And it was just, like you said, the vibe is so different than the other two. It's so weird, and it has this weird, like, wacky quality to it, and, like the tone and stuff, and I was just like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
we're not
Right.
here for this.
The saving grace, though, is we got to see Caspian in various pirate
Caspian
outfits.
in his pirate
walking around
outfits.
his ship with his beautiful face and
The half
wet
pulled
hair
back hair. The half pulled back hair.
You know, I'm just in
That
love
was
with
the only good thing about the
him.
movie. Caspian looked
Yeah.
good. Their pirate outfits looked good, and Caspian didn't have some whack-ass fake Spanish accent anymore, which is the only thing I didn't like about the second movie, was their whack accents. It was gone, he was just British in the third one, so that was the only thing that was an improvement. So I feel like the first two, I would absolutely, like, put it in A, but I feel like that third one brings it down. Like, it has to be a B because of that.
I mean, I guess you can put it in
I
B.
think it's a B.
Yeah, I guess overall, as a summary, it is kind of the same as a summary of Harry Potter, yeah.
The first two, I would have put them in A, but as an average for the trilogy,
Yeah, that's fair.
so again, I don't know what happened. Next is Good Omens. This one's me.
So this is written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. This is a one-season TV show based on the one book, made by Amazon in 2019.
So I watched the show first, and then I read the book, and I have to say, it's pretty much exact. Like, probably the most accurate, like, book-to-thing adaptation, like, that I've ever seen. Even though I watched it first, like, reading it, it was, like, pretty much exactly the same. And it's also just, like, a really good show. I mean, the story's good in both, obviously, because the story's basically the same. And it's just, like, really, like, well done. Like, it's really well made. Like, it looks good. The casting is great. The main characters are great. Even the little, like, child actors that were in this were, like, really good. Honestly, I would say this is an S tier. Straight up. So, I'm gonna put it at the top.
I've not seen it or read it, so I have nothing to say.
We should watch it.
Cool.
Next, we have The Dresden Files, which I have also neither read nor watched. So, Becky, tell us.
All right, so The Dresden Files is a series by Jim Butcher. There was one season of a TV show made, loosely based sometimes on some of the books. It was made by Lionsgate Television in 2007. So, here we go again, round two. The Dresden Files is my other favorite book series, and, you know, I just cannot win ever. Again, I just have to start by saying, why? Why did you make these decisions. Like, why does he use a hockey stick as a wizard staff? Why? Why does Murphy have a child? And why is her name not even the same? Like, her name is Connie instead of Karen. Just why?
What a random thing to change.
You right? Like
they were like, no, I don't like that name. I like this name better. Like, oh, okay.
And then another one, Justin Morningway instead of Dumorn. Like, hello? Like, why? Like, why is he banging random ladies? He can't get a date to save his life. He shouldn't be banging random people. I was reading the Wikipedia page to try to kind of refresh my memory on things that happened in it, to see what I have to say about it. And there is a thing that says Jim Butcher was saying, like, oh, this isn't supposed to be like the same as the books. It's supposed to be like, it's just a parallel world with those characters or something. But I'm just like, why though?
Why though?
Why did you make it then? Like, why couldn't you just have made it similar? Like, why did you purposely make this shitty AU?
Oh
like, what the heck? It has him and Murphy, okay, but they don't even act the same. You've got Bob, which is like really weirdly done. Like, because so he's supposed to be this like intellect spirit that's housed in this skull, but he's just like this British man walking around. Like, he can just like anthropomorphize himself, I guess. And it's like I was reading the explanation of it, and it was like some like weird like Salem the cat from Sabrina energy, where he like got trapped in this thing instead of it just being a spirit to begin with. And I was like, huh? It says in the thing like loosely based on book 2, like, yeah, very loosely based. Bianca requests his help. Why are you helping Bianca? She's a villain. Like, she's like one of the major villains. I don't know why they made this if they weren't even attempting to make it similar.
It kind of like, sounds like if you were to like make like a modern AU, except it's already modern, isn't it?
Yeah, so, it is.
Why?
It's just like, right, it's like weird parallel AU. There's no explanation. I don't know. Like,
so what level?
Trash.
It's as bad as Artemis Fowl.
It is as bad. Like, I can't even decide which is worse. Which is so tragic, because these are my 2 favorite book series, and I just, I can't ever
dunk them in the trash.
Dump them in the trash.
Oh,
like,
man. Next is Lord of the Rings.
All right, so this is by J.R.R. Tolkien. There are 3 movies based off of 3 books made by New Line Cinema between 2001 and 2003.
So are you just gonna automatically put it in S because it's your favorite,
I was gonna say, if you came here thinking you were gonna put Lord of the Rings on a tier and have me not put it in S, I don't know what you were thinking, because yeah, I am just gonna immediately put it in S because it's my favorite movies ever.
Okay, well...
And like, listen, I recognize the fact that some things are different in terms of adaptation of the book. Like, I can recognize that fact. Specifically, I would say, like, some characterizations are different. Like, Frodo is kind of done differently, and Faramir is always a big topic of contention with the fans. But, I mean, I still think that, like, the casting is really good. Every other aspect of the movie is, like, top tier, like top notch, like quality, like cinematography and the scenery and the music, the effects, the makeup designs for like the orcs and everything, all the creatures, the set designs, the costumes, like everything about it is just so well made, and it's like such a like iconic piece of film, like, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just, which is what made me fall in love with it at the age of 10, and to this day still look at it as my favorite series ever. So, like, I think for those reasons alone, like, as movies, they are just so well done that they deserve that S rank, even if everything isn't exactly as it should have been from the books.
Okay, so I will... Let me talk. Shut up. I'm just kidding. I'll put it in S for you, Becky. If I was just ranking it on my own, I would probably put it in, like, A or A plus maybe, because there are some things that I don't like. The thing is, alright, I've got a wide variety of opinions about Lord of the Rings. Like, there are some things that I think are better in the movie. Aragorn as a character, he's a bit different. But I feel like movie Aragorn is better because he has more of like struggles and like character growth, whereas book Aragorn is basically just like he's cool, but he's just like a Gary Stu. Like, he's just good at everything, everyone loves him, he knows everything, he's just great all the time, and it's like, okay dude, whatever. Opposite, you already said this, Frodo is so much better in the book. Like, he's just a better character. I don't know what they did. Peter Jackson, I don't know what you did to my boy in this movie. Like, he sucks, okay? He's so lame. Like, book Frodo is so much, like, a stronger, like, more, like, I don't know, like, just better character. Like, and I hate that in the movie they added this extra drama between Frodo and Sam that is not in the book, and it just drives me crazy. I hate it. That's probably
scene.
My most hated thing.
Yeah, the whole scene where they're like at Cirith Ungol or like, you know, on the stairs or whatever. It's just, it's kind of whack. I agree.
Yeah, that said though, there are things that I feel like are better in movie form. And the thing is, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not that big of a fan of Tolkien's writing style. He just goes on tangents all the time, and I'm just like, oh my god, I don't care. So in that sense, I do kind of like seeing it more as a movie, even though there are things that I don't like that I just mentioned. Overall, I would rather watch the movie, I think, than read the book, just because it's just like so much. It's so much. And it's
like it's definitely nicer to just see the scenery and just have these sweeping, like, you know, cinematic shots of the traveling instead of having a whole like 3-page narration about the crow flying or whatever.
Overall, I do think it's better as a movie, even though there are some things that I prefer in the book. Alright, so the last one, at least for today, is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
So this book is by Susanna Clarke. There is one TV show season made. It's just the one book made by Cuba Pictures and the BBC in 2015.
I feel like it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it was, honestly. I honestly kind of like it a little more than the book, because I kind of felt a little similarly to like Tolkien style reading Susanna Clarke's style. Like some of the things I would just kind of get tired of reading it. You know, I hate footnotes to you know, hate them. So like some of it, like, you know, I didn't need all of this information. Like it was, you could have just had that one scene and it's done, you know? So I feel like I liked that adaptation wise. And I feel like it did cover like the most important parts of the book too. I mean, there were some things that I didn't like character-wise, but it's kind of, yeah, Walter, my boy.
He was kind of being a dick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was not nice at all. Like, he was being mean to Stephen, and then they, like, broke up at the end, like, him and Lady Pole. I was like, this is whack. Like, let them be happy, you know? Like, why you gotta be like this? But I think Jonathan's character I liked a lot more in the show.
Right, yeah.
Like, he was a lot less
more,
whack.
Like, sympathetic, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a more likable character. The weird scene at the end, yeah, was weird.
Yeah, so, like, there was some... Yeah, because, like, in the book, they, like, were in the fairy world, but then in the show, they were just, like, in that house, and, like, stuff was happening. I don't know, like, the way that they were summoning the thing was, like, so different, and it was, like, kind of weird. But I feel like other than that, it was pretty accurate to the book. And I feel like it's also, like, pretty, like, well-made, and, like, the casting is good and stuff. So I think, for me, it'd probably be, like, an A.
Yeah, probably, honestly.
Yeah, like pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you have it. We didn't put anything in D. We just went straight to the trash.
Sorry, I had to.
Becky has strong opinions. So that was fun. It's nice to talk about books and Adaptations. So we have some ideas already to do a round 2, but if you have any suggestions, you can leave them down below. Those are our opinions. Let us know if you agree, if you disagree.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Hold on 1 second.
Of course, here we go. Like, alright.
I mean,
what are you gonna say? Yeah, it does that. Oh my god, my hair is in my ears!
so we have chosen 10 series? Is that what they are? Or books?
Yeah, say books. Do you hear my child?
Finny. Yeah, I do.
Hey! Oh, that was fun. Jesus, I'm losing my mind.
I mean,
oh no, what happened? It's not recording anymore.
What?
There in the world. I'm sorry, my nose is so itchy. Can we pause for a second?
Yeah. You know, as
Oh,
child
I'm not
actors.
recording this.
So thank you very much. Very much. It's too proper.
Why not? There's stuff going on in my nose.
I mean, me too.